Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to CSL Parker today. I do extend my warm welcome to you, our member community, and of course, our ever-growing global family. My name is Dr. Nadine Rogers, and I'm deeply grateful to share the principles of living a spiritual life with you through our December's theme called Our Divine Humanity. This is a time where we will get to explore how to activate the infinite potential within ourselves by embracing our humanity. So I'm going to begin, as we do every Sunday, by lighting the unity candle. Now, I happen to have a super duper torch here, so hopefully I don't light anything on fire other than the candle. There we go. Whoop, didn't work. Look at that. Oh, there we are. And we light this candle knowing that it symbolizes the ongoing transformative power of spirit within each one of us equally, uniting us all in this truth and in the courage to exercise our capacity towards loving ourselves unconditionally. Here at CSL Parker, we learn how to apply practical spirituality in our everyday lives based upon the teachings of the Science of Mind and Spirit of Dr. Ernest Holmes. Now, he summarizes his teaching as a correlation of laws of science, opinions of philosophy, and revelations of world religions, which is applied to human needs and the aspirations of man. Now, we all know that we live in a spiritual universe, that we are spiritual beings having a human experience, and that right where we are, everything we think we lack exists. Being an all-inclusive teaching and center, we honor all mindful paths to the one and continue to learn together how to celebrate and honor diversity, as well as rejoice and become stronger in what does unite us. We learn to be a student with humility and awe in the vast power for good within us and within the world, just as it is. We come to understand, as we walk each other home, that we teach by how we live, and that how we live becomes our prayer. We know you are blessed right here and now, so sit back and relax and enjoy our time together of music and meditation.
We just take this time to be together, to be in peace, to absolutely relax together. We take this time for us, this very, very special time. Just gently, gently, gently close your eyes. Take a very, very, very deep breath through your nose. And just release it. When you do that, let your head relax. Your shoulders. We just become present right here, right now. This is our time. This is a time of letting go, releasing, becoming part of community, this beautiful planet. We're just going to go on a small journey here into this beautiful, beautiful state. And we just want us to feel the back of the chair, feel the comfort, the relaxation. And out of the top of our head, we're just letting all the woes, concerns, worries just float away, just out into the ether. Letting there be peace and calm coming in with the next breath. Deep inhale, soft exhale. Right now we just use our imaginations and leave this place. We go into our beautiful, beautiful Colorado mountains. And it's spring. You can actually see the wildflowers. You can smell them. There's grass. There are leaves on the trees. And we just wander over to a beautiful, beautiful brook. We look down and we can hear the soft, relaxing trickle. See the clear water. You can also hear the rustle of the aspen trees. And we can feel the sun coming through on the right side of our face. Gentle, wonderful. We keep breathing deeply into the beautiful flowers, into the fresh breeze. We just allow ourselves to move and look around and relax. And the grass is inviting, and we just sit right down by the brook, listening, enjoying, at peace, at one, this beautiful world. And we know that in our comfort, our silence, there's healing for us, for our community, for our beautiful planet. I see a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful little gray kitty. And he comes and he sits on our lap. You just feel the fur, how soft he is. He looks up with loving eyes. And I just continue to rub that beautiful soft fur, feeling it under my hand. Feeling the softness, feeling the sun, listening to the brook, smelling the grass, knowing that this place is mine. I can return here anytime. It's such a time of peace. And it's our place that we can go to when there's overwhelm or stress. Just stand up, look one more time at the water, smell the flowers, and feel that incredible sun on my face. I now move back in to my chair, but I bring that absolutely relaxed space with me, knowing that I can go back here anytime, that I always have that peace, that love within me. We just bring our consciousness back to this place, but with renewed energy, with renewed love, and with renewed peace. Another couple of beautiful, deep, cleansing breaths. Now gently, very gently, whenever you're ready, just open our eyes, come back into our world, peace and clarity and love, and knowing that we are all held in this absolute unconditional. Thank you.
So many choices, so little time. So many mountains left to climb. But I know that it gets clearer as I get nearer to where I'm meant to be. I can't be anybody but myself. Everybody else is already taken. I got to follow my own road, and God only knows where I'm going. Everybody's trying to fit in. I gotta feel good in my own skin. Gonna use my imagination for inspiration every chance I get. I can't be anybody but myself, and everybody else is already taken. I got to follow my own road, and God only knows where I'm going. Trusting my instincts, keeping me in sync in my head, in my heart, and my soul. I can't be anybody but myself, 'cause everybody else is already taken. I got to follow my own road. God only knows where I'm going. Ooh, I can't be anybody but myself. Everybody else is already taken. I got to follow my own road. God only knows where I'm going. I got to follow my own road. God only knows where I'm going.
All right. Woo. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Well, good morning once again. It's really good to be here with you today. We're beginning a fresh month, and our theme this month is our divine humanity. So, what about this spiritual idea that we are one in, one with, and one as God? It's a big idea. I know that this idea is basic to our ongoing sacred conversations that we have in search for truth in ourselves and in our life. So we're going to begin speaking to this idea first as we explore this month our divine humanity. Now, we're well acquainted with the idea that we are of a spiritual nature and connected with each other and all of life through this spiritual nature. But what is connecting with our spiritual nature? That intuitive, guiding whisper or shout, perhaps, that prompts us when we could use a pause or a reset, a bridge into discovering more of who we are as a unique, personalized, individualized expression of spirit. What a complex journey this can be as our everyday engagement seems to challenge our intellect, seducing us into believing that we are in the world and of it. It is complex, hands down, especially when we fall into the trance of identifying ourselves through our perceived relationship with our beliefs about who we are attracting back, our own reflection in the body of all our affairs. It is here we give away our power, don't we? And instinctively do whatever it takes to come back into alignment with our spiritual nature as our true north. Thank goodness we have that instinct. Now, what I have observed over these many years walking the planet is that for most of it, I would usually argue with a who, with great intention to encourage me, would drop those pearls of wisdom. You know the ones I mean, such as, it's all an illusion anyway, or you are making it all up. How about this one? There's no such thing as time and space. If you just change your attitude or your mind, it would all be okay. Well, of course, you know, when we're in the middle, crossing that great divide between a limited identity from the world around us to an unlimited sense of our capacity to shape our lives through faith in universal laws, the law of life, and the power of infinite intelligence, we don't often see the forest for the trees. But I want to say we're not supposed to see the forest for the trees. We need to play in the trees. Here is where the power of spirit lives, not just in the whole forest. It lives in each minuscule and finite form, each condition, thought. The whole spirit is there. Its infinite love and the responsiveness of the law of its nature. It's all fully present, full, pure potential, without notice of conditions of our lives or our world situation. In other words, consider today, when we're looking at this idea of we are one as everything, God lives as and for us and through us, that we can take time, we can pause, we can test the waters, we can play in the trees of our life circumstance, playing with our thoughts about our life circumstance, how we speak about them, and if not comfortable in the presence of others, within our own countenance. What I'm trying to say is, do not limit your thoughts or your voice for fear you might be bringing something forward of more of what you don't want. The only way that can happen is if you do not change your deep belief patterns. And the only way that will happen is if you are afraid to give voice to all your thoughts and feelings when you think them and feel them, instead of repressing them through judgment of the energy they might carry forward. I just want to give you a moment to think about that because, when we're young students, whether it's the science of mind teaching or any other teaching, we are taught the power of our word. Really, it's the power back of our word when we're in alignment with our own true north that creates. Not just any arbitrary thought or saying or word that we might give voice to. Here's a mantra that I've used throughout the years. I reveal to release. I reveal to release. I reveal to release. Now, this idea has buoyed my mind and ensured my readiness for conscious reinvention of my self-identity over and over and over again. So we must be open and present and lovingly accept who we are and where we are in our unique life circumstances, because this is where it all happens. This is right where the power for good exists, right within our own complex human expression and experience. This is why, in order to know divinity, we must embrace our humanity. Now, when things seem chaotic, messy, hard to swallow, it means we are standing in front of something that has a message for us that we obviously are feeling resistant to. So join me for a moment. I want to do a bit of a visualization. When we're in our own home, we can be comfortable just to close our eyes and let it all hang out. And so I want you to do that. Just pick one thing happening in your life experience and climb that tree for a moment. Now, firstly, did you notice that you are up pretty high and have a really good vantage point? That point aside. Secondly, what is it, I want you to ask yourself, what is it you are looking for inside the chaos and the messiness? Are you limiting where what you're looking for might be? Or if you removed your resistance to your perceived chaos and messiness, and therefore looked a little harder into its belly, might you find what you're looking for? We're all doing great work, and we're not coming down. So don't be so quick to throw out the trees for the forest. For with it will go the richness of the discovery in our humanity of our divinity. Now, I love peace and beauty in my environments and my relationships. And most often, I create that experience, but not through how I saw it coming about or when I saw it come about. Now, sometimes if I do demonstrate the absolute perfect result and picture of my intention with no surprises along the path, I always end up aware of even greater gifts, those hidden blessings that not only did I not plant in mind, but that arose from that within me that knows. Here's a present moment example of this happening in my life right now. Now, most of you know I am on the move. Well, that's always true because I can't sit still, but literally I am moving. And actually today, as I'm recording this, is one of my first moving days. And I'm moving into a brand new home with my partner, and it's got a beautiful vista, glorious gardens and foliage. Even God's color scheme is like a master painter. Well, it is a master painter, created it all just so perfectly, and nothing is disturbed in my eye. However, we are right on the beach. So obviously there's a very large body of water in front of me with mountains to the other side of the Okanagan Lake. And we're on an end lot and on a corner. So that means even though we have beautiful cedar trees lining each side of our property to give us maximum privacy, there is the culprit of wind. Now, I don't like wind. I also don't necessarily respond or resonate with water. I'm the forest girl. I love the smell of the earth and the moss and love to be embraced like in a womb of those trees. I love to see new shoots. But I have that within me that chose this property for me and my own specific next reveal, the great reveal in me. So although I've always been resistant to wind and water, I'm very clear when I stood on that property and tears rose within me, emotions, water, that this was my next place. So I didn't think about that when I was envisioning moving together with my partner into a new forever home. But there it was. There it was. And so I was called to just trust the process, to let myself feel the resistance, feel like I might be in a little bit of chaos from time to time because I'm going to be triggered by that which I've always resisted. But yet it's the perfect time, right, for the unfoldment of whatever it is within me that is yet unknown in my humanity to see the light. So we understand that even though there are very seemingly small, insignificant little things that happen in our life, everything in the mess and in the chaos and in the busyness is a beautiful moment for the revelation of spirit to say, I am you, and for you to say, I am that I am. So we do understand that there is spiritual value, often as blessings in disguise. But as we come to these moments, these beautiful, fertile moments, we get an opportunity to live full out and take life in fully, past our resistance. So really, what are we waiting for? I ask myself that many times a day. Because if we live in half measures, we speak and attract half truths. We create half solutions. And we cannot feel a full measure of personal fulfillment or life's infinite, abundant blessing. Now, many of you know that for a great portion of my life, I was a professional clown. And I entered the art of clowning, dishing up humor and wit in all transparency as a means to hide my judgments, my dislikes, and my vulnerabilities. Now, I graduated from this profession after about 20 years, which did lead me to ministry, using humor to authentically express my truth in the moment. I use humor now to change energy, to constantly and consciously heal and to relay spiritual truth in crucial moments, whether mine or another's. Now, I bring this up because it has been and remains a primary tool in my spiritual kit on the journey of self-love, as has my growth around the integrity of my word, my follow-through on commitments, self-responsibility, and often the big one, self-compassion. Of course, they say God is laughing when we are busy making plans. So, to help us move into this idea of embracing our humanity, I'd like to share with you a short visualization courtesy of James Finley. It's called Dream Compassion. So, let's just take a big breath and settle back once again. Imagine that you have a dream in which you are climbing a high mountain. The valley below is where you grew up, where you experienced pain and made many mistakes, or just had a very small understanding of who you really were. You are trying to transcend and leave this place by reaching the summit, on which you will be supremely and sublimely holy and one with God. Now, as the summit comes into view, the wind rising from the valley brings with it the sound of a child crying out of distress. You realize that there is no real choice but to go down the mountain to find help for the hurting child. Turning back, you descend into the valley, Following the child's cries, you arrive at the very home you tried to leave behind. You very gently and rather hesitantly open the door and look inside. Sitting in the corner on the floor is your own wounded child self. That part of you that holds feelings of powerless, perhaps shame. You sit down next to the child on the floor, and for a long time, you say nothing. Then a most amazing thing happens. As you are putting your arms around this child, you suddenly realize you are on the lofty summit of union with God. Open your eyes if you wish. You know, to be transformed in compassionate love does not mean that you do not have to continue sometimes struggling and working through our perceived shortcomings and difficulties. It means learning to join God, who loves you through and through in the midst of all these perceived shortcomings. And as you continue to be transformed in this way, you come to realize that right here, right now, just the way you are one with love, and with the love that loves you and takes you to itself. Immersed in love, we can look out through compassionate eyes to see the world and hear the dream in which you returned to your wounded child self takes on new social dimensions. In this expanded version of the dream, you follow the child's cries to the home in which you grow up. You go inside to compassionately embrace the preciousness of the hurting child. And as you put your arms around the child, it turns into your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your friend, for even the foe in your life. It becomes every nameless face that you have passed in the street. Take a breath with me. You know, not everything, perhaps not anything, is actually meant to fit in a box, least of all us. Heather Plett wrote this: when it's time for something new, you will feel it. You will feel a desire to let go, to shed layers, to move, to recreate. You will know because there will be subtle shifts all around you. You will release the old because you are really cleaning and clearing the path for what is ahead, but actually already present in the mind and the heart of God. We must trust the process. I believe that newness will enter into our lives in equal measure to how much of a space or void we have created by letting go. Now, do we really think that we have not the capacity to hold newness? Will we not know what to do with it? Do we prefer things bit by bit instead of all at once? That's a fair question. If so, then we must be giving of ourselves bit by bit, letting go pieces of ourselves that have not yet expressed out, letting go attachments to both what doesn't and does presently support us, leaning into that something greater, bit by bit, or all at once. Go ahead and build the condo. You know the saying, build a condo, just don't live there? Go ahead, build it. Go ahead, live there. You will know through the subtle changes when that's something new in your life that is next yet to be revealed through your embracement, not your resistance of your humanity, is at your door. Here's a story I love that talks about our own spiritual authority and knowing that there is nothing greater to risk than our faith in the truth of who we are as one in God. A woman carried a deep pain in her shoulder blade and learned to use it as a reminder that there were other things in life, kind of like a stress gauge. You know, her working style was, I must do it all. You know, I must be responsible for it all. I know that one. She went to yoga class where the teacher put her arms in a position that directed full attention to the pain in her shoulder and intensified the feeling to the point of her feeling something shifting. Now, at that moment, her mind drifted from the point of pain into a meditative state, and she saw herself as a bird, quietly sitting. She watched while one other bird flew away, and the thought arose in her at that moment, I will not fly to find food. She knew that those words meant that hunger and need would no longer motivate her into old patterns of incessant activity. Now, in her dream, more birds flew by, and her neighbor bird flew with them. And her thought was, I will not fly for company either. And she knew that she would no longer be driven by the need of companionship through unhealthy love or simple social interaction as a means of perhaps procrastination. So she, as the bird, sat alone and was content. Yet she sensed an incompleteness. Then 2 children came under the trees calling up to her. Then 3, then 4. She thought, I need not fly away because of fear. I do not know what's going to happen. Then adults came and began talking quietly, and she sensed they wanted to capture or kill her. Still, she would not fly. They began to throw stones, but they missed her, for she was too high and the stones could not reach her. So she was safe. Next, guns were pulled out. Still, she would not fly for fear. Bullets flew past her, and she thought, if I don't fly for fear, I could die. But she sat with the choice, willing to die rather than fly. And after a seeming long moment, a voice spoke deep within her, a different sounding voice than before, and she thought, if I didn't know any better, I would say that was God or Spirit speaking within me, saying, fly, fly because I made you to fly. At that moment, she leapt into the air, and with great joy, she soared to the tune of the impulse inside. I fly because God made me. I fly because God made me. She soared over the trees, towards the horizon, streaking faster across the tops of the mountains toward the sea. Powered by joy, she flew higher into the sky and headed home towards God. This little bird knew she would never feel trapped in the frenetic pace of life again. She knew that she would now choose to do it all. Now she participated for the only reason worth living, because God made her, and her shoulder pain disappeared. It's not about having enough faith to get something in order to feel connected and secure in this world. But as the story shows, faith is about trusting the inner knowing as divine guidance and our choice to pay attention long enough so that the healing takes place in our lives. Faith is about trusting the unseen connection with Spirit in times when we feel most alone. And faith is about embracing our humanity with loving compassion. Spiritual and mental resolve as an intention as we consciously move from one calendar year to the next is so important. Peace within my mind, or love is my daily bread, whatever it is that you turn towards as your intention moving into this year, let it be a state of being and trust the process of its unfoldment. And by this I mean trust the time and form of it as being divine right action in accordance to both what you consciously intend and what you are subconsciously letting go of. And whatever else we do or don't do, play, have fun, enjoy. Put those at the top of your list. You know, we can't take what we do seriously if we take ourselves too seriously. If we are to know divinity through embracing our humanity, then I sure know that I needed to contemplate lightening up and do more than just contemplating it. Have you ever watched those wonderful comedies, you know, the old Laurel and Hardy or Three Stooges or Abbott and Costello? You'll always notice that they come in pairs when they are doing a situational comedy. And one plays the fool and one plays the straight man. We do the same in life's comedies and life's dramas. But don't you notice that you tend to think that the straight man is best most of the time? But you know, wisdom is accepting Spirit's presence as both the straight man and the fool. So how can we lighten up our perspective on who we are? Well, since there's no beginning and no end, and we are coming to the close of today's message, let's circle back to the beginning with a summary of who and whose we truly are in these 7 steps. Step 1, alter our ego. A-L-T-A-R, our ego. It is the window into the creative part of mind and worn out beliefs that only serve to limit our expression and experience of life. Step 2, affirm that everything in life that happens through us, not to us, and happens as a reflection or projection, a happening in time and space that carries the like energy of who we believe we are. Step 3, we are here to be the full authentic expression of Spirit as us. As we are free to choose in each moment, and because the subjective part of our mind doesn't know the difference between fact and imagination, we do get to make it up however we want. Step 4, that life is at its best when we give in to the flow, the mystery, the adventure, which is not fixed or planned, but gives us those best memories in joy, fun, and playfulness when we have met the moments with a yes. Step number 5, live from your heart, nurturing and nourishing your mind into loving acceptance of your humanity every step of the way. Step number 6, there is only now. And therefore the only place and space we can create newly is now, which means we first must start with who we believe ourselves to be and with what we have to see the changes we desire. Here is the supreme action of include and transcend. There is only one life. That life is God's life, that life is perfect, and that life is our life now. Each and every breath is Spirit breathing us. Each and every word is Spirit speaking as us. Each and every thought, every step, every decision houses the infinite potential of the divine emanation of all experiencing itself through our choice. I speak my word, knowing that each is poised to know life's beauty, that born within us is not only the desire and the ability to create a life of beauty and richness, but there is within us not a spark, but a burning fire, compelling us to live fully and authentically. Reveal to release, and all is made known. Everything we need to embrace our humanity and know divinity is beating within our heart in this very moment. Life is serving us as we are serving its expression. 2 and more are already gathered in this light of truth. All is well, and so it is. Blessings on your week, everyone.
Hello, everyone. You may or may not know that CSL Parker is a tithing community. Our November tithe went to the Douglas Elbert Task Force. This is a human service organization whose mission is to meet the immediate needs of residents of Douglas and Elbert counties to help them work through troublesome times with dignity. The task force has remained open and fully functioning during this time of COVID. December is typically a very busy month, and we certainly have a lot going on here at CSL Parker. Please mark your calendar for the following events. Next Sunday, December 13th, our guest speaker will be Reverend Terry O'Shea. Then, Sunday afternoon, from 2 to 4 p.m., Reverend Terry will present a Hidden Blessings workshop. Please join us for this exciting, engaging, and interactive workshop. This week, on December 9th, Wednesday evening, you are invited to join together with our CSL practitioners for a sacred experience in prayer. This prayer circle will begin at 6:30 p.m. You will have the opportunity to work one-on-one with a practitioner in a private breakout room during this sacred time. The following week, on Thursday, December 17th, our very own Mark West will be conducting a seminar on mastering the flow of life. This will be from 7 to 8:30 p.m. And to close out the year, we're having a town hall meeting on Wednesday, December 30th from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Please join us for an opportunity to release, reinvest, and reinvent through ceremony. And finally, today we will be having our usual after chat at 11 a.m. Come share your insights, gain clarity, and discuss points of interest in this small group loving environment. For further information or the link to attend any of these events, please visit us on Facebook, CSL Parker on Facebook, or reference your email newsletter. Please have a blessed week, and I hope to see you on Wednesday for our prayer circle.
I invite you into a personal investment now I like to call sacred and faithful giving, knowing that there is an infinite flow of prosperity and abundance that is operating in, through, and as us at all times, no matter our present circumstances. You know, this helps us to open our consciousness of acceptance and give with a grateful heart. And when our souls are fed by the practice of this kind of giving, we can be certain that our gift blesses both the giver and the receiver many times over. For your convenience, we provide you with various ways in which you can donate. You can click on the box at the top of the screen here, or you can donate on our website, or via Zelle. Or if you feel more comfortable mailing in a check, please do so to our office, and here is our new address. You know, we do receive and appreciate your gifts and your tithes, especially at a time such as this. So thank you for supporting us to remain a vital and thriving center in which to find spiritual nourishment. I invite you now to affirm your prosperity through the power of your own word by saying this with me. I attract all good things into being. The power of my faith enhances my experience of health, relationship, finance, fulfillment, passion, purpose, and joy. The creative source in my life is in a constant state of perfection, freely giving itself as my bounty. And so it is. And now our offering song.
treasure is what we have to give. It's what we have to share, and how we live in the law of circulation, just passing on the gift. Talent, time, and treasure, we are blessed. We are blessed. Talent, time, and treasure is what we have to give. It's what we have to share, and how we live in the law of circulation, just passing on the gift. Talent, time, and treasure, we are blessed. We are blessed.
Let us join together in prayer for our closing benediction. We have been blessed by the presence of all those who have come here this morning. All is well here. As the end of 2020 fast approaches, it can seem that the experience of life, changes that perhaps seem out of our control, are intensifying, but may we remember to take a gentle pause and recenter into the abiding love and the wisdom of the Great Spirit. It is in this moment, in these moments, that we can more lovingly embrace our humanity, our divine humanity, and the divinity in all living things. It is in this moment that we can breathe deeply in gratitude for the lives that we have been given, and for the knowledge that the Spirit is present, accessible, and moving within the life of all humanity in divine right action and order. That the Spirit is guiding us in ways to unconditionally love ourselves as the gift of God that we each are. We affirm our capacity to live into our authenticity and joyfully give of our time, our talents, and our treasures without measure whenever and wherever we feel moved to do so. May we always, as we move into this new year, take each opportunity to affirm the presence of the Most High before us. Life is a blessing. And so are we. And so it is. Amen. And now, our closing song.
To be humble, to be kind, it is a giving of the peace in your mind. To a stranger, to a friend, to give in such a way that has no end. We are love, we are one, we are how we treat each other when the day is done. We are peace, we are war, we are how we treat each other, and nothing worst can come quick. The danger's in the anger and in the hanging on to it. We are love, we are one. We are how we treat each other when the day is done. We are peace, we are war. We are how we treat each other, nothing more. And tell me what it is that you see. A world that's full of endless possibility. And heroes don't look like they used to. They look like you do. We are love, we are one. We are how we treat each other when the day is done. We are peace,